Is vulnerability a strength or is it a weakness? I saw someone commenting on one of my videos saying how you should never share your weaknesses with people because they're going to exploit you in the future. So I thought I'd share some of my ideas on vulnerability, human relationships, manipulation, exploitation, sharing things about yourself with other people through the form of this video. So people are very different. There's a whole world out there, and there's all sorts of different people that exist. Some people will exploit you and manipulate you. Some people you actually cannot trust. You can't share vulnerable things with them because the way that their mind is going to interpret that is as a sign of weakness, and they will try and use that for their own personal gain. That's usually what people at pretty low levels of consciousness and development do. But when people begin to raise their consciousness and they're at higher levels of development, this doesn't really happen very much. If you're interacting with people who are more conscious and they're aware of these kinds of dynamics, they're aware of how they can have manipulative tendencies and exploitative tendencies, and every human has this. This is like baked into human psychology. You have exploitative and manipulative sort of strategies. So really conscious people will really begin to confront these parts of themselves, begin to kind of clean them up, begin to really process the emotions around them. And they're not really going to act on those kinds of impulses, right? A lot of people who do a lot of inner work, shadow work, consciousness work, are going to notice these things and how they contribute to psychological disease and a lot of suffering. And naturally, they're just not going to be interested in that anymore. Their values shift. Their sense of identity shifts. Their level of consciousness shifts. So when you take on the attitude of you can never be vulnerable with someone because they're going to exploit you, this is a very survival-oriented belief. And although there's truth in that, right, some people most definitely will exploit you. Some people will view you as weak for being vulnerable. Other people will not. Other people will recognize it as a strength. Other people will be very empathetic and supportive. Other people will actually help you. So when you're interacting with people in your life, like your sort of close group of friends or family or intimate partner, assuming that they're safe, right? I'm assuming that these people are conscious and safe. A lot of them might not be. Assuming that you actually have someone to share things with and they're not going to exploit you, to not share with them is going to hold you back. Because when you are not being vulnerable, unconsciously what's going on is you are acting from fear, you're acting from a bunch of like protective walls and mechanisms, and this whole thing is very uncomfortable. To do this for the rest of your life is very, very exhausting, and you're not going to really develop extremely close and meaningful connections to people. So in the context of the people around you are healthy people who aren't looking to exploit you, and these people do exist, there's quite a lot of them out there actually, not being vulnerable with them is the mistake. Holding back and keeping everything in is the error. When you are vulnerable with people, you let down your guard. You can actually let out certain emotions that won't come out in other ways. Relationships are designed to bring out various insecurities and fears and triggers within us, especially an intimate partner. When we get like really attached to someone, they're designed to bring out all sorts of unconscious and repressed emotions, unconscious survival strategies, unconscious patterns in general. So vulnerability is it's a need when it comes to having a healthy relationship. There's no healthy relationship without vulnerability. There's no truly healthy relationship without vulnerability. And there's a spectrum here. It's not black and white, whether it's unhealthy or healthy. Right? There's a whole spectrum going on here. And when you're vulnerable with someone, the connection deepens. Your ability to see each other clearly deepens. You instinctually and intuitively feel more connected to them. You begin to form a deeper sense of trust. And a lot of people have no trust in other people. They're very concerned about if other people are going to just scam them and abuse them, and for all sorts of reasons. People have a whole variety of reasons for thinking that. But this is a major mistake to go through life just stuck on this one belief and this one point of view that people are just out to get you. And like I said, you don't want to just open to absolutely anyone. You don't want to just be vulnerable with anyone, because yes, there are people who will exploit you and manipulate you. But you can attract people into your life who aren't going to do that. How do you do that? By becoming the higher version of you, by looking into your own exploitative and manipulative tendencies, by looking into the unhealthy parts of you and really healing them and cleaning them up. Naturally, you're going to attract like-minded people, people who resonate with you. Without vulnerability in the context of an intimate relationship, you're not really going to connect to the other person at a deep enough level to have the highest quality relationship that you can possibly have. You're just going to be stuck with your defenses up. You're going to be acting out of fear, and it's going to be kind of competitive as well. There's going to be a feeling of competition going on, of like it's me versus them. And it's going to be subtle. And the reason why you're doing this is because unconsciously you're just afraid. You're afraid of feeling pain. You're afraid of feeling and experiencing something that you don't want to experience. And a lot of these feelings are already inside of you. They're already trapped inside of you, unless you've really built up a lot of your emotional intelligence and have like good emotional regulation skills and have done like inner child healing work and shadow work. A lot of this stuff is just like really stuck inside of you, and it's not going anywhere. And it's really staying stuck in there through all of these various protective mechanisms. This is like reinforcing their stuckness. So without vulnerability, you cannot open to another person at a deep enough level to really experience the beauty of human relationships. And I'm just going to emphasize once again to watch out to who you open up to, right? And you don't have to be like super high alert about it. Like you can just like chill. But of course, you don't want to just open up to anyone about anything. You want to choose wisely. Who are the people that you're going to be opening up to and connecting continuously? And you're actually safe to trust a lot of people. If you've ever traveled quite a lot and if you've spoken to a lot of people really aren't out to get you. A lot of people are fairly safe, okay? Especially if you just like walk out and you actually start talking to a bunch of people. You don't have to like walk up to a stranger and share some super vulnerable thing with them, but you can just kind of get their vibe and get the feeling of the interaction. A lot of people are very safe to begin opening up to and being a little bit vulnerable, but especially when it comes to your friendships, like the people you continuously expose yourself to, your intimate partner. These people have to be conscious, and you have to be able to share your vulnerabilities with them and them with you. And there's like a mutual just trust and connection and support and empathy happening. Or else you're not going to really have a very meaningful connection to them. It's going to be too repressed. You're not going to trust them. It's just the depth of the connection won't really be there. Right? You're not going to really get like the full richness of a human relationship without being vulnerable. And when you just don't trust humans whatsoever, like when you just think that everyone's out to get you, they're all going to exploit you, notice just what the emotional byproduct of that is within you. Your body's tense, your mind's kind of rigid, you're anxious. It's basically this whole paradigm is being driven by an underlying and unconscious fear within you. And I understand, I'm talking to a general audience right now. There's potentially people here who have been abused and have had experiences that are going to lead them to believe that the world is just dangerous and your brain can be wired in a bunch of different ways, and personal experiences, your personal narratives that you believe. But I really want you to just open up at least a little bit, just a tiny bit. Is everyone really out to get you? Can you really not share your vulnerability with anyone because they're going to exploit you? So choose very wisely when it comes to the people who you are going to continuously expose yourself to, because there's going to be a lot of energy exchange between the two of you, or the group of people, if you have a friend group. And this is going to really impact your psyche, your emotions, your feelings, your habits, your worldview. The people who you interact with matter quite a lot. And really question, why are you so insecure about being vulnerable? Really, like what's going on under the surface? A lot of this can be related to childhood wounds, the avoidance of pain. What's going on inside of you that makes you not want to actually share vulnerability with another person? Because relationships in general are designed to bring out a lot of these insecurities within us, especially intimate relationships. They're designed to kind of mirror back to us various blocks and stuck emotions, repressed emotions, and pain that exists within us so that we can heal them, right? And if you're habitually stuck on the idea and the overall experience, like your being is stuck on this belief and this overall like way of being, way of existing, that people are just out to get you, right? Your relationship to others is reflecting that. It's pointing to these things inside of you that you have to heal. It's pointing you to these wounded parts of yourself that you need to actually pay attention to so that you can have meaningful relationships in your life, so you can attract very good partners and friends into your life. So notice manipulative drives within you. Notice parts of you that are exploitative, and they exist. They're in there. If you just don't deny them and you do a very honest look at how you manipulate and how you exploit, you will find it. This is just a massive part of human psychology. And as you raise your consciousness and as you call out these parts of yourself, as you're honest about them, as you process the emotions related to them, and as you just kind of slowly let go of these patterns, you're going to start to feel a lot better, and you're not really going to want to do those anymore, because with those patterns comes a lot of pain and suffering. It's not really comfortable to actually be doing that. It's not conducive to your own self-actualization, to your own personal development. So how can you heal the parts of you that manipulate and exploit? What do they want? Why are they doing that? What are they afraid of? How can you let go? And why are you afraid of letting them go? So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below. Take it easy.